Hello everyone, just coming on a little bit early. Make sure the camera's good. All right, another live Q&A. And I'm gonna share some information as well that came through. But come on in, I'm gonna give a couple minutes and let everybody jump in. I started a little bit early. Hello, Devin. Hi, Shauna, Queen of Three Kings, Bella, Rosemary, Tina. Hello, everyone, Kim. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I jumped on a little bit early. I just want to give us all time to jump in, say hello. How are you guys? How's everyone doing with this energy in November? How does it feel for you guys? I'll share a little bit about how it's feeling for me, and but I'd love to hear how this energy is the last 5 days. Very powerful. I came to you in a dream, Pam. Oh, that's so awesome. Energy is wild, yeah. Hi, Ash. Hi, Jacqueline from Asheville. It's been uplifting. Get me off the planet. Okay, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Yep. Hard to take a breath deep into my lungs, Mara. Keep breathing. Slow down. Oh, yay, Katie. Congratulations. Oh, and now you're pregnant. Oh, okay. Well, life throws a lot of weird, interesting turns and twists. Courtney, you're here. Yay, I'm so happy. Anticipation. Why am I feeling awesome when others aren't? Tina, it's just we're all in different frequencies right now. Feeling a fire from within, kid. There's a lot of people that are feeling, so this energy, you guys, I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes before I start to share, but yeah, so we're all in different frequencies, right? So we're all moving through this differently, but there is a collective sort of charge that many of us can tap into. Hi, Asia. Hi, Kathy. Spirit definitely turned up. Well, spirit or the collective, we turned up the volume, so to speak. It's our work, you guys. It's what we've been doing that's done this. Nothing else, right? Nobody else has done this, right? That's what's so really beautiful about what we're experiencing right now, is that we did this. Like every step we take into whatever new experience you're having, whether it's a higher frequency or lower frequency, we're opening these portals. We're pushing into these higher frequencies. We're doing the work. That's why we're here. Hi, Lori. Hi, Mia. What else is going on, everyone? I'm exhausted. Vision problems. Yes, sounds familiar. Radio static, Daniela. Radio static can definitely be high frequencies that you're feeling, and most of the time, if you're feeling those, it's energies around you, right? And so typically the energies that are around us are our families of light, our guides, the angelic realm, ascended masters. Many different frequencies or beings are around us at all times. You know, it's almost like if you could turn the energetic light switch on and see, you'd be blown away. You'd be like, whoa. In fact, hello, everyone. It's 4 o'clock. Okay, so everyone's going to come in now. I called in before I did this YouTube. I called in Saint Germain because he's been really strong with me since November 1st, and Katumi, who's my kind of master guide right now, and then all of these galactic beings, you guys, just flooded. I was like, all right, I'm going to let in the Syrians, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians. And then all of a sudden it was like the Lyrans, the Andromedas, Cassiopeia, Alpha Centauri, like they just like came flooding into this space. And my whole room was just like, oh, wow, we are squeezed in here. And they want to be with us now. They're with you all now, right? They're with us 24/7. Not just these galactic beings or these large collective consciousnesses, but all your beautiful guides. They're with you. And especially when we come together, you guys, as a group like this, right? As a collective, when we come together as a large collective of light workers and way showers, which is sort of like a moment where we get to kind of remind ourselves of what we're doing here on this earth plane, remind ourselves that we're not crazy and losing our minds. It's like this auditorium opens and we all rush in during this live and we're all together and we get to relax for a moment and like breathe. Okay. And then at the same time, so the energy is really high, right? When we're together. And then all of these massively beautiful beings that are with us 24/7 get to sort of be felt a little bit easier. So I invite you in this next hour, hour and a half that we're together, if you have the ability, whether on the live or on the replay, to settle into the energies that are around you right now. If you have the ability to kind of relax and even close your eyes for a moment, right? And just start to feel any energetic vibration, sound, feeling, emotion, anything that may be around you. Because one of the things that happens is that all of us come together and the portal opens. We can feel them a little bit more. So, hello. Oh my God, Rosemary, do I not look more rested? You have no idea you guys, October for me, I look like a whole different person, don't I? I feel like a whole different person. I feel so different this month than I've ever felt in my life. And I went through, I mean, if you go back and just look at videos I did or pictures I took or, lives, anything that I did in my online community, I looked exhausted, right? I was having massive amounts of work being done on me. And I myself was doing a massive amount of work, you guys, because I knew, and I shared this in videos, that we were literally being asked to courageously squeeze ourselves through this portal that was opening in October to step into this other version of us. Remember, I spoke about that in one of the videos, stepping into that next version of you. Well, this is what it looks like. I literally did that. And I cleared an Akashic record that had been with me since I was 6. And I feel different. I look different. I'm responding to everything differently. And this is what it looks like when we do this, right? When we courageously allow ourselves to literally be exhausted for an entire month and allow ourselves to be in the behaviors we're in, feel the emotions we're feeling, anger, frustration. I mean, I didn't censor anything I went through in October. I lovingly allowed myself to have it all. I mean, anxiety, massive amounts of anxiety, you guys, self-hatred, fears, you name the gamut of human experience, I had it. But I didn't beat myself up and I didn't judge myself. And I knew, based on what was coming in, that if I just let it be, if I surrendered to it, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I was ready, that I would be able to pop out, right, into this other version of me. And it's not about popping out into something else. It's not going out, right? It's just shifting inward into another way of being, So I want to share quickly before we go into Q&A. I want to share a message from Saint Germain today. So one of the things that's happening for a lot of us this month, actually the next 2 months, is a couple of different things. One, he said, I took notes because I didn't want to forget. One was that, and again, remember, you guys, we're all in different frequencies and vibrations. So it's okay if your October, which was my massive crazy thing, is in November, right? Or in December. or in January, or your October was way back in July, right? Like, it's all happening in a now moment in the quantum space. So what that means is that my month of October of massive shift may have happened for thousands of people in other months. But for a large collective, right? When people read energies and when they read what's going on for the collective, it's a large amount of humans that are experiencing this experience, right? But it doesn't mean that everybody is. It doesn't mean that you should be or you shouldn't be, right? It just means that a large collective of the collective is experience this. So when people read energies or they say this is I'm tapping into the collective, I'm tapping into the energies of the collective, they're not tapping into everyone, right? They're not tapping into all of it. They're tapping into a collective within the collective. So we want to make sure that we don't judge ourselves like, oh shit, I missed that month. Now I'm screwed, right? Because the ascension path for every human is very, very different. And again, it is all about non-judgmental beingness, if that's even a phrase, being non-judgmental, being accepting and loving. So this month and the next month for a larger collective, whether you're part of that or not, right, is about stepping into more of this frequency of love, that vibration of love that we're all going to be stepping into more and more, where there will be a time at some other now moment where we will literally be seeing through the eyes of that vibration of love, feeling through the breath and beingness of the vibration of love, acting and responding through that vibration of love, right? But we have to tiptoe our way into the vibration of love. And we start with ourselves, right? And so November and December is a really massive month of remembering how to love ourselves again. And how best to practice that than when we are moving our densities, the densities out of us. When we are experiencing that which we are so ready to not be in anymore, right? It's so beautiful the way the ascension journey works, because we are providing ourselves with the opportunity to do and be that which we are going to do and be in another now moment. Meaning you can't unconditionally love all if you can't unconditionally love yourself in whatever you're experiencing when you're experiencing that which you don't want to be in. You can't fall into and experience unity consciousness if you can't watch yourself angry, sad, depressed, exhausted, sick, and not have the eyes of unity on yourself, meaning oneness, meaning the spark of God or source, meaning love, frequency, right? So we are being provided with the opportunity in every now moment to be that which we are stepping into in the now moment. So November and December is all about that. It's also about starting to really begin to be you, these other aspects of you, in relation to others, right? So now it's almost like for many of us, we are stepping out into the world as a different sort of aspect of us, right? A more multidimensional aspect of us. And it becomes a new way of navigating our reality, how we relate to people, how we respond to people, the boundaries that we hold in the beginning, our ability to allow others to just be themselves. Because you will notice that the triggers will be less and less, right? You will just be in a state of watching people just be themselves. A lot of contracts have been ending the last 6, 7, 8 months since the beginning of January, right? And so you're noticing as those contracts end, the relationship may still be there, but the actual way in which you respond and be with that person is different because the contract has ended. Doesn't mean the relationship is ended, right? And so we're starting to learn how to speak, how to listen, how to feel, how to be in relation to everything out there now in these other aspects of us. And the third thing that's happening in the next 2 months for us is we are realizing, this is the most exciting piece for me. We are realizing, recognizing, and beginning to remember in a much more tangible way why we're here. And what a lot of us are noticing is that it is subtle. It is the ability to be with others with an open heart and literally alchemize the energy around the fields and shift it. That is massive. That's a massive light worker. I had on my online community, the StarGate Circle, there was a gentleman that reached out to me and emailed me. And he was at a Arcturian healing retreat of some sort. And he emails me, it's like day 2 or 3, and he's upset and he's angry because it's not as heart-centered, it's not as loving kind of, it's more of a head sort of experience that he's been having, right? And I don't exactly know what I said to him, but I basically said, well, why don't you just be that which you know you are, that you want to feel, regardless of how others are? Why not be that love spark, vibration, frequency that you want to be experiencing, regardless of what is happening around you? And so a couple of days later, he emails me back and he said, I had a dream after we exchanged emails. I had this dream and I was told that I was an alchemist and that I can be this vibrational frequency of love wherever I am and blah, blah, blah. So basically he said that the rest of the workshop or retreat, he was him. He was his frequency. He was this vibration that he wanted to be in, but he was afraid to be in it because nobody else was in it. Everybody else was in the head and kind of thinking. And you know, sometimes when you're in the galactic space, it can be very heady, depending upon the galactic that you're connecting to, right? Only because the human's trying to figure it all out. So he started being just him. He held up boundaries. He started loving everyone. He was telling everyone that he loved them. He wasn't holding back. And he watched the entire retreat shift. And by the end of the retreat, it was the most heart-centered, loving experience he's ever had. Now, this isn't to say that he's responsible for that, right? Who knows if that would have happened? But the point is that he was who he designed himself to be in this lifetime. He was doing his work. Now, did he have a website? Was he charging people? Was he asking for donations? Was he, did he have a label and a name for himself? No. He subtly became him. He recognized his vibrational signature. And by recognizing his vibrational signature, how he wanted to be, and the fight he was having because others around him weren't, he stepped right into who he is designed to be in this lifetime. And that's what we're starting to recognize. My twin flame who's on here, Yogi Joe, had the same experience. This all just happened this week. He drives for Lyft. He's been very depressed, suicidal. And he was intervened by his guides. And they said, you forgot who you are. You forgot what you're doing down on the earth plane. So many of us forget what we're doing down here. And it makes sense. I get it. I get why we forget. It's intense down here. It's so intense. I get it. But when we have an intervention, like Yogi Joe did, and his guides took him out of his physical form, it was like Ebenezer Scrooge. And they showed him what he's doing here. They showed him why he's down there. They showed him the impact he has. They showed him what happens when you pass. They showed him what happens when you pass if you do suicide or not, right? They showed him the vibration that him and I have as twin flames, right? And how we share this love frequency. And they said that you're basically, I'm not saying exactly what happened, but what they gave him was your life. It's not about your physical life. It's not about the third dimensional life. That has nothing to do with what you're doing down there. That's just an aspect of what you had to play in. Every single person that comes to you, you're being of service to, they said, basically. Your service is to know that you are a teacher and that who is coming and being called to you is being called to you for a reason. So we get caught up in this idea of, what am I here to do? What am I here to do? What am I here to do? Where's my gifts? Where's my gifts? Where's my gifts? It's a vibration. It's a signature. It's you. It's you walking in your form. And eventually, if you have designed yourself to do something like I'm doing, or Phil Good's doing, or other people, Lisa Transcendence Brown, all these people that we watch, Matt Kahn, that we see, if you're designed to be and do that, it will happen. And if you're designed to be and do something else, it will happen. And in the meantime, you begin to step into, and you don't even begin, it just happens. You start to naturally step into your vibrational signature, the beingness that you are, or the light being that you are that dropped into human form. So these next 2 months, we're going to start to get really intimate with the light being or the consciousness that you are that dropped into the physical form. So it's not even about the higher self, right? This is a higher frequency, a higher aspect of you that you're going to start to tap into, which is the remembrance of what you're doing on the earth plane. You bypass the higher self and you go straight into that consciousness that's inside the etheric form that is you, that dropped into this physical form, that chose to be here, that wanted to be here. And every single one of your now moments, regardless of what you've done, of who you are, of what you've experienced, of what you think, of what you feel, of your behaviors, of your destructive behaviors, addictions, it doesn't matter. In every single one of your now moments, you're a light worker in a way shower, no matter what. And because you are courageously taking one step in front of the other and courageously moving through your month of October, right? And there may be multiple months of October that you're going through. I can attest to the fact that nothing is going to stop you from stepping deeper and deeper and deeper into these massively high frequency consciousnesses that are you. There is no way you're going to miss out on who you are and what you're here to do. It's impossible. So you have to just navigate where you are with as much compassion for yourself as possible right now. The more you can love yourself in all of the crap you don't want to be in, the faster you'll shift. Meaning, the faster it will be moved, you will move through it. Make sense? So that's November and December. A lot of teachers are talking about, or a lot of people are talking about the 2020 timelines or the 2020 energies. And you guys use these 2 months to just say, give it to me. What do I need? What do I need to go through? What do I need to clear? What are the Akashic records that are coming up over and over and over again? How do you know what is coming up? You will be thinking about it. You will be feeling it. You will be hearing it. It will be the same things that are coming up, the same feelings, the same behaviors, the same thoughts. And it will probably have some sort of similarity to it. It's a record, and it's a deep one from your childhood, right? These are the ones that are last to clear, or the Akashic records that have been with us since we dropped into the form. So there's a lot of Akashic records that will just start to clear a little bit more easily. Maybe they're not as dense and as heavy. But the last Akashic, because when you are vibrating in a 5D consciousness, you're not connected to the Akashic record anymore in terms of the lessons or the ways of being, experiencing the 3D consciousness. So the Akashic record was designed for you to be able to pull what you wanted to experience while you were in the 3D consciousness. So it wasn't a shit show, even though it may feel like a shit show, excuse my language. You actually designed a sort of playground or a game, and you knew where you were going to be going based on what you pulled in to experience through the Akashic record. That Akashic record, those 3D consciousnesses, experiences don't come with you as you shift. You literally shift out of that Akashic record density, those consciousnesses, those 3D experiences. You will naturally shift out of it, and that's what's happening. These are clearing down here, right? These Akashic records that are held in a 3D consciousness are clearing from you. And the last to clear are the deepest, the heaviest, the most traumatic, the most painful. We're always clearing density because we live physically right now. Our physical form is still in a 3D or 4D consciousness. So there is still dense consciousness that we are digesting and consuming, right? But it clears much easier or freer than before when we were asleep. But these dense experiences will be gone as you continue to shift. So you all know, especially if you're listening to this, you all know what it is that's being asked of you to clear, to release. And what I can tell you based on what I went through is that you have to be able to love it. You have to be able to allow yourself to just be in it. Can you not judge you? You're just doing the natural, organic process of shifting frequencies. You know, and like one of the community members said here, I forgot her name, that she just finally decided to divorce. I think it's her husband. It might be her wife. I'm not sure. But she is now pregnant. That is an experience that she is going to have to navigate with as much compassion and love for herself as possible. This is where we learn how to truly love ourselves. You can't go out into the world and step into unconditional love if you can't do it for yourself. And it's much easier to do it when we're stoked on ourselves, when we're like, yeah, I look great, or yeah, I'm so awesome today, or oh my God, I'm so great today. I'm doing all these amazing things for people. It's easy to love ourselves then, but can you love yourselves in your darkest moments? Because they're all the same. It's the human experience. So be courageous. Stay courageous. Don't try to force anything. Just love the hell out of yourself. What if you let go of any sort of I need to do, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do, and instead you said the only thing I actually need to do is just be with me, with my now, and love it. Yes, you're always choosing as well, so there's that fine line, right? You want to choose your reality and you're in the quantum space, but be careful because you don't want to dismiss the most magical alchemy times, which is when you are in the depths of it. Not once did I try to shift myself out of anything I was experiencing in October. Not once. I didn't try to shift out of sadness, depression, anxiety, guilt, self-hatred for myself, behaviors that are just not good for me. You know, I didn't try to shift out of one of those. And there's a lot of beliefs out there that If you stay in it, you will continue to bring that to you. I can tell you right now that is not true. That is not true. Because look where I am. Look where I am. I'm completely different energetically. And I didn't buy into the paradigms or beliefs that if I don't shift my thoughts, if I don't shift my vibration, then I'm going to continue to bring that to me over and over and over again. If I believed that, I would have been swirling in doom and despair and Jesus, I'm screwed. But I didn't do that. Why? Because I knew what was happening. I knew from a much bigger perspective that this is alchemy, this is ascension, this is shifting dimensions and frequencies. And I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge. It's the ego that wants you to shift. It's the ego that says, if you keep doing this, you're bringing that to you. If you keep holding that vibration. No, you guys, love the hell out of yourself, because when you love yourself, think of that vibration. Think of the vibration of love when you're anxious, when you're angry, when you're depressed, when you're lazier than you've ever been, when you're eating food you don't want to eat, when you are doing addictive behaviors you don't want to do. Think of the vibration of compassion and love for yourself while you're going through it, and how that shifts everything around you, even though you're still in it, compared to doomsday of, oh shit, I'm in this, I'm feeling this is a low vibration, I better switch out of this, shit, I better positive think, I better pull into a different, I better pull a different quantum, experience. I better I got to do all these things. I can't, this is not good. My energy is going to bring back to me. Oh, fuck. Excuse my language, but that's what you start to feel. And what does that do? That keeps you in it, right? This is what the Galactics and it's Saint Germain, who's right here, right? And Katumi, who's right here, and Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and all the beings that have already done this. This is what they want us to remember. You don't shift out of stuff by trying to be anything other than who you are in that moment. That's love. And the love vibration is higher than anything you could choose and pick to be. Any thought you could create to shift into. Any behavior that you can choose. So you always hold the knowingness that you are shifting. You always hold the knowingness that this is for your highest good. You always hold the knowingness that you are being asked to love the hell out of yourself. And then you pop into some other frequency and you're like, holy crap, I did it. What's next? Does this make sense, you guys? There's a lot of, here's what's so interesting about the ascension process. Somebody just asked, how do I hear my guides? Here's what's so awesome about moving through the ascension process with like objective eyes, right? Which is what I do all the time because I'm a teacher. So not only am I going through it to teach my experience, but I'm watching myself and I'm recognizing how we are as humans as we go through this. And there's so many things that we kind of grasp for or need, right? And I get it. And one of it is hearing our guides, hearing our higher self. I get that. I wish that I could have a sort of some way for you guys to see how it is for me, but there's no way because it's all energy, right? but it is not like, you have to just start to, I'll tell you what, the best practice to do to really start to align and connect deeper into the frequencies around you, which is around you and inside of you, right? The higher self, the I am presence, the ego, and then the guides and beings around you. It's all energy. It's all frequency. So you have to remember that you're designed to tap into and hear it, okay? And it's almost like if you have the TV on really loud inside, right? It's going to be hard to hear anything else. And the TV being loud inside would be distractions around you. The phone, the internet, your own physical TV, your job, your family, right? There's all these things that we have, and many of them we need to have. But those are distractions, which is like a really loud television. The more we can shut those off as often as possible, even if it's for 5 minutes, you will absolutely start to feel energy. You will start to hear something, meaning you will start to navigate your energetic world, the energies that are around you. And it starts off where it may just be a frequency. It may just be some sort of weird frequency or energy that you feel. It may be a voice in your head that sounds like your ego. Maybe it's your higher self, but the more you listen, the more you're like, oh no, that's something else. It's not all of a sudden, boom, here comes these freaking voices. It doesn't always happen that way. You have to navigate it. And you have to open to it slowly. And the less distraction you have in your life, the easier it will be. Meaning, the more you can set aside time to just literally sit on a couch. Just sit for 5 minutes, eyes open. Practice that for 30 days. Come back and let me know what happens. Practice just sitting. Don't close your eyes. Don't meditate. Don't write. Don't do anything. Or sit on your bed. I don't care. Sit somewhere in your car. No, your car, you might have more distractions. Sit in a place where you have no distraction, but your eyes are open. You're not doing any meditation. First of all, none of us do. Rarely do we do that. It's very weird in the beginning, but it's what I do every day. I do it every single day. And you'll start to be able to hone in. So the TV turns down and you can start to feel, hear, see, experience other things around you. You have to slow down. We have to stop doing in order to begin to experience what's around us. So I invite you to do a 30-day challenge where you just sit for 5 minutes, set the alarm, or 10 minutes. And don't close your eyes. Just literally sit in a room where there's no one else. Shut the door, lock the door. Even if it's a bath or a shower, whatever. And just watch. So if this is the first time you do it, you're going to hear a lot of random crazy thoughts. Keep going. Everything eventually quiets and the magic appears. You begin to hear. Or you hear something else you've never heard before. There's no playbook of how it works. There's no playbook of this is how it works. This is what you do first. This is what it's going to sound like. This is what it's going to feel like. We're all unique. We all navigate it differently. We all digest consciousness differently, which is energies and frequencies around us. But I guarantee you, I can guarantee that something will happen in those 30 days. Try it. Let me know. 30 days from now. So December 4th or 5th, whenever my live is around that day, come in and let me know. Try it. It's the only thing I do. I don't meditate. Like I don't close my eyes and meditate unless I want to go into some sort of portal or like astral travel, right? I will only meditate and close my eyes if I actually want to move into a different dimensional field. And that requires me to close my eyes, because when you access other dimensions, you have to use imagination, because that's a multisensory gift that we have, is our imagination. The imagination is a way in which we can access other dimensional fields. It's sort of like the third eye opens and the third eye navigates as you travel astrally, as you travel into other dimensions, and you have to be able to use imagination. And imagination is just the third eye opening. There's nothing magical about opening the third eye, right? It's just you going in and saying, oh, what do I see? What do I feel? What do I hear? What if, right? What if I was actually being taken into this cave, or actually being taken into this temple, or, Okay. All right, you guys. So congratulations, Lashish, 120 days sober. That's awesome. Yay. I love you guys so much. My ears ring like electronic crickets in chorus. James, that's awesome. A lot of people are having a lot of those sensations, right? That's just your physical form shifting into more of a multidimensionality. So you start to feel, hear, experience other frequencies, literally other tones. So it's not only the vibrational, it's not only you're not only tapping into kind of the energies and frequencies around you that may be beings or your guides, but you're also tapping into the quantum space, which is like a massive tone, right? There's all these dimensional fields in this single now moment that you're standing in, that when your multidimensionality starts to turn on, when the light codes start to turn on, right, within the physical form, because the physical form is anchoring higher frequencies and the physical form is turning on more into these higher frequencies and anchoring into the higher dimensions, your radar starts to go, you're literally, your physical form, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, all of it starts to feel more of what's around. You start to hear tones that you've never heard, like frequencies, like loud, piercing frequencies that you've never heard. Everything's energy, and energy can be a color for us in 3D. It can be a sound as you shift into higher frequencies and tones. Everything vibrates. I saw a dragon. Dragons, you can actually see in the 3D. Honest. I haven't, but I had a friend that was staying with me once in Mount Shasta. He was in my bedroom. I was in my couch. And he woke up early in the morning and there was a little physical dragon. So he was in the dream state, right? So he just had come out of the dream state. He was awake, but he was in that groggy state, right? Where you just come back down into your body, but you had just been in higher frequencies. It's a beautiful time to see higher dimensional consciousnesses. And so as he was opening his eyes, he could see this dragon. He said it was like this big and it was up kind of above there and it was purple. And he did this like shaking of his head. He like closed his eyes and opened his eyes and it was there. And he went to grab his phone to take a photo and it disappeared. And, dragons will do that and fairies will do that. But also, you guys, there's a lot of higher dimensional, fifth dimensional beings and sixth dimensional beings like the Lemurians who came into the room today. So the Lemurians are fifth dimensional human forms. The Palladians, a lot of fifth dimensional races. There's a lot of beings that are not in our 3D field that are working with us and assisting us that we will start to see. And it'll be more of like this weird kind of, it's like you're seeing something, but you're not sure if you're seeing something. It kind of looks fuzzy or hazy. It's like, is there something standing there? Like when you how do I explain this? When you watch a movie and they'll bring some kind of some being or human form into the screen and it's like fuzzy and you can't really see. And then all of a sudden it becomes clear. And then all of a sudden it gets fuzzy and disappears. It's that kind of thing because it's going to be moving through dimensions. So when consciousness starts to move, when higher consciousness starts to move into our field and we start to move into its field, we meet halfway. It's like it disappears and then it appears. It disappears and it appears. And that's just shifting into, it's moving through dimensions. It's cool. Random question, Kate, wondering what your thoughts are on the theory that at the end of life, there is a sort of review. Okay, so people have been asking all day today and yesterday about death and what happens after death. And Yogi Joe, who's on here, you guys, he had the most amazing experience. And he was shown so much of what occurs when we pass, the types of spirits that pass, like basically depending upon who you are as a spirit or a consciousness will dictate what your experience is when you pass, whether you go straight back to source consciousness, whether you go straight back to your soul family and the group that's been supporting you, whether you stay around in the fourth dimensional field, not necessarily stuck, but sometimes stuck. And why that is, I wish that he could, maybe I'll do an interview with him on YouTube, because his story of what happened to him is really profound. And what he was told is very profound. And it's very useful for us because I didn't know what happens when we pass. I've never been given the information other than you are always greeted and you're never, as a high frequency consciousness, I always know that you go into that consciousness back again, right? So as soon as the body passes, the heart stops, the light being or consciousness or soul or spirit literally lifts out of the form. That I knew. I just was never really sure what occurs after that. So would you guys be interested in that? In me interviewing him on like a live one time? Because it's really an interesting thing. And there's a lot of people I think that would be curious or interested in knowing what happens. Yes. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, exciting. All right, I will do that this week. I'll get him and I together and we'll do it live. I'll post on my community page and on Instagram and Facebook when it will go live, when we'll go, we'll plan it. And you guys, his story is pretty fascinating. What happened to him? It's amazing. So that would be great. Hopefully he's willing to do it. I didn't ask him, but I'm sure he will. That would be fascinating. What he can share with us. Okay, thumbs up. So he said yes. Great. We'll do it this week. Find a day. Oh, Christine, I'm sorry for your loss. Not really sorry, but I'm sending you love for your loss, your grief. It'll be interesting to find out how you resonate with the messages and where you believe that he may be. So people asking about families being asleep, right? Or not moving through the ascension process. And this is going to become really potent the next 2 months. So we no longer can deny what's happening with us, right? You can't be quiet anymore. You can't pretend anymore. You can't keep your mouth shut. Like, it's almost excruciating, right? Like, you just can't anymore. And a lot of us are there. And so the next couple of months, that is an aspect of what we're going through, is learning how to be us, be who we are as we shift in the midst of all of those not. So it's much more of action now, of like, okay, now I have to be me. I have to be me. I have to speak me. I have to validate me And in the same time, you guys, what you'll notice is that you're going to be validating the other person as well. As soon as you start to give yourself the ability to just be you and recognize that you're a unique signature, and so are they. And there's nothing wrong with how they are being. They don't need to come along with you if they don't want to. Why? They don't need to shift themselves or change themselves. They don't need to believe what you believe. They don't need to buy into it. Just because we think we know what is best, because we're feeling it and experiencing it and seeing the fruits of our labors, doesn't mean that somebody else has to or needs to or should. And that's what we're stepping into the 2020 timeline is this ability to just be us, speak our truths, know our truths, know who we are, and not change or throw that on anyone else. Even when that other person may be triggered, angry, upset, any of that, right? So you learn how to not force anything onto somebody else. You just be you. You be you. All the ascended masters, and by the way, we're all learning how to be masters, ascending masters in physical form. We're all learning how to be the Jesus, the Saint Germain, the Katumis, the Sanat Kumaras, the Mother Marys, the Mary Magdalens, right? All of these magnificent beings that were actually human, third dimensional human beings that ascended in the human form, right? They walked the earth plane in this state of ascendance, which is what we're all learning how to do right now, without judgments. Right? They didn't try to, they just were them. They taught what they knew. They were who they were. They were their vibrational signature. And so what you're going to start to practice is you are most likely going to find yourself in an environment where everyone else around you isn't ascending with you for right now. Right? It's going to start to change faster and faster. It's going to accelerate. You know, the next 6, 7, 8 months, we're going to find ourselves surrounded by more people that are starting to wake up. And guess what? Guess who you are? You're the way shower for them. So you stand in a room right now with 30 people in the room, and you're the only one awake, right? Nothing wrong with that. 6 months later, you stand in that same room, and there's 4 people that are starting to ask you questions because you are allowing yourself to just be you. Your vibration is you, your voice is you, your reaction is you, you being the vibrational signature that you are. And all of a sudden, 4 people that are starting to wake up are going to start to be pulled energetically to you without knowing why. And all of a sudden, you're doing your work. You're doing your light work. You're the way shower. So accept it that we are going to be what's that called when you are the minority in the beginning. Can you navigate that with love and compassion for all of the, I don't even like saying unawakened or awake because it makes it seem like there's something wrong with those that aren't awake, and there isn't. There's nothing wrong with those that aren't awake. Nothing. So can you begin to watch yourself have compassion for you and the other that you're in an experience with, whether it's your partner, your kids, your parents, your coworkers, whoever it is, and find yourself in some sort of space of neutrality where it's like, okay, I have to allow myself to be me. I have to allow myself to be my signature, like that man at the Arcturian retreat. Right? He had to allow himself to just be himself regardless of what anyone was doing. And he didn't force himself onto anyone. He didn't tell anyone how to be. He didn't tell anyone what was the right or wrong way. Why are we not in love? Why are we not opening our hearts? He didn't do that. What did he do? He just became himself. He just was him. He didn't try to change anyone. And by just being him, by just allowing himself to be through his voice, through his boundaries, through his knowingness, through his resonance. The energies around him shifted. So you're not going to be able to escape, most of us, all the other humans that are not yet awake. That's why you're on the earth plane. Welcome to your job. That's your job. Your job is to be the minority. The light workers and way showers are the minority. Who had the walk-in question? Hold on. Who had the walk-in question? Aaron? Aaron. Lori, are we walk-ins? I don't feel anything like the person I was a few years ago. I truly in my heart feel like a different soul. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that's an interesting question. Okay. I don't feel anything like the person I was a few years ago. I truly feel like a different soul. Okay, so it's possible. First, let me describe a walk-in. A walk-in is another consciousness like yourself, another spirit or another soul that moves into the physical form that another soul or consciousness was experiencing itself as. And that soul or consciousness that chose to leave chose to leave with the intention of this other consciousness coming in. The reason for that may be the soul's exhausted, the soul's tired, maybe the soul did everything it wanted to do. Maybe the soul wanted to leave, but didn't want to actually like physically leave the body. Like, hey, does anybody else want to come in? There's a lot of variety of ways in which a walk-in can connect and do that switch. Okay. But the reason for it, first and foremost, is that the soul and spirit initially that entered into the form is done, is tired, it's exhausted, is complete. Okay. So another consciousness said, I'll do it, I'll come in and I'll finish. I'll come in and do this, right? And they come in. What it feels like from what I have heard, because of course I've never been a walk-in, is that you are literally experiencing your reality as if you're completely different, a completely different person. So let's say the original person A, the first person in, let's say that they loved running, they loved eating pizzas, they loved having a family and being a homebody, right? Their personality was like, that was their personality. They were funny and whatever it was, right? Soul B jumps in, and soul B is all about like thinking and science and creating, and it doesn't really have a massive desire for family, right? And so it has a different personality. It looks different. It feels different. It's got a different energetic signature. And yet it's in the same form, with the same name, with the same reality, right? The same partner or family or job, whatever it is. And a lot of times there will be massive shifts, earthquake kind of shifts in their reality so that it can match their new personality. So your world will shift quite dramatically if you're a walk-in, based on the personality that you are, that you chose to experience when you came in. Rarely does a walk-in choose the same experiences, the same personality as the first spirit. It's very rare. That's why there's such a split. So Aaron, are you a walk-in? I don't know. It sounds like you are resonating with that, and it's very possible that you are. It's very possible that you are connecting to knowing that there was another consciousness in you that's no longer in you. Like everything's different. Like you're brand new. How do I do this? How do I navigate this world? Like it can feel very new. Almost like you're waking up out of a dream and now you have to start to live a life in a form. There's an individual named William Linville. He's a walk-in. And his walk-in experience is really fascinating. If you're interested, Google him, William Linville. So you're probably a walk-in, Aaron. Especially if you feel like a different soul, you're most likely a walk-in. I will say that there aren't as many walk-ins as there used to be, like in the 90s and in the early 2000s, there were many, many walk-ins. Because at that time, the ascension process was draining on souls. If you were around and you were moving through the ascension process in the 90s, you know how exhausting it was. Now it's exciting, even though it's challenging, but it's happening fast, right? It's like boom, 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 boom. In the 90s, it was really, really slow. And so there were a lot of souls that were like, I'm out. Who wants to come in? And in the early 200s, hopefully the 2000s. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit, or anyone else's kind of questions or thoughts about walk-ins. Yes, a walk-in has an absolutely, Devin, a walk-in has a new path. They have everything's new. So it's a new consciousness that chooses. It's typically also, you guys, when a walk-in comes in, it's on a mission. It's going to get to work and it's going to do its work. Rarely does a walk-in happen and that walk-in is unconscious or asleep. That is almost 99.9% of the time that doesn't happen. The walk-in comes in and is like, boom, awake, ready, and gets to work. So do they have to create an Akashic record? Yes, because they have to still play in this 12th dimensional grid. They have to play in the universal ways that were created for this consciousness to be, right? So they have to create, they have to kind of create personality traits and experiences they want to have, but they don't have as many of the Akashic records. They don't have as dense of an Akashic record, so there's not a lot to clear. There's very little to clear. And their blueprint, their signature blueprint of what they're here to do is really connected to them. So they drop in and it's like they will get to work pretty quickly, usually in the first couple of years of dropping in. So if you know someone that's sort of like their whole life, a lot of times also, you guys, walk-ins will happen when the first soul, A, has a really detrimental accident or has cancers or, something where they are on their deathbed. They're literally about to die. There will be an exchange of souls. It's an opportunity for that soul that's like, I'm done, I'm complete. Another soul to be like, I want to come in, I want to come in, I want to come in. And I don't want to have to go through the entire lifespan of 3D time. I want to come in fast. I want to get to work and I want to do the work. That's another reason why walk-ins happen. And walk-ins will choose other spirits that are like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm complete. And this consciousness is like, let me in because I'm going to get to work fast. So it's a massive shift. So that soul, that body, that's in the hospital bed about to die, all of a sudden reemerges, right? And is a completely different person, right? And all of a sudden they just start to do these things that was like, wait a second, you didn't do that 2 years ago. You didn't like any of that. Like, right? They like different musics. They talk different. They walk different. Everything's different. It's a completely different Akashic record, personality, whole purpose of being there, blueprint, all of it. Very different. But it's a great opportunity for a consciousness to just skip the whole freaking first part of 3D world Does that make sense? I look different. I have all new friends. I have a reason to live again. This all happened since 2016. Yeah. I would say most likely yes. Aaron. I would say yes. Your face even looks different. Yeah, so you probably sound different too. Like, people probably think you sound different. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments. All right, what time is it? Oh, it's only 5. That's awesome. Okay, so let me get to a couple more questions. We have some time. I'll go for a little bit longer. Sean from, we're not in high school? No way. You went to my high school, Sean? That's hilarious. Wait, what year did you graduate high school? I graduated in 93. Were we in the same year? That is funny. Walk-ins are rare, but a totally thing. Yeah, they're a thing. My dreams are always of me looking down at what's happening. Is that my higher self? No. So who asked that question? Alchemy, tarot, and guidance. No. Your guide, when you are in this dream state, it's your etheric body or the light being that you are. The consciousness that dropped in, that is the consciousness that literally travels in the dream state. It's the aspect of you that's literally floating above you. And your higher self will be with you because it's an aspect of you. It's an aspect of that higher consciousness. So it's always connected to you. But the aspect of you that's looking down at you or any other experience is literally the light being that you are. It's the consciousness that you were. It's the consciousness that's been looking down at this entire Earth experience prior to dropping in. So it's actually your light body, your light being. It's pretty cool. Gaia Love. Why did I just have an inner vision of Mother Mary covering her ears saying, la, la, la? I have no idea. I was wondering if you could speak more on how to love your former self experiences so that you don't keep getting sucked back. You just keep doing it. So there is no way other than you just keep loving yourself until that experience that you're moving out of is gone. So it's like you're at Groundhog Day, right? It's Groundhog Day again. Groundhog Day again. I'm going through this again. You don't stop. You just keep loving yourself. There will be a time that all of a sudden it's gone. You hold the knowingness and the intention that you are literally in the alchemy process of shifting out of it. You hold the intention of that. You hold the intention that you are literally alchemizing energy and that you're shifting out of it. And in that now moment of recognizing and knowing that, you stay still and you love it. You love yourself. And then you get angry that, shit, here it is again. How many times do I have to do this? How many times do I have to love this behavior? How many times do I have to love this aspect of me? I can't do it anymore. I can't. It's never going to happen, right? I've been there. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to shift out of this. I've been there. I have been shifting out of this record since, well, in all honesty, since February of 2018. February of 2018. Yours doesn't have to take that long. But did I stop? Nope. Did I quit? Nope. Did I go through these ups and downs of how I was going to navigate it? Some months I loved myself, some months I didn't. Yep. But as I got closer and closer to finally releasing it, I came to the realization that I just needed to love the hell out of myself more and more and more. And stay focused on that. And you can feel it build up. You can feel how close you are to letting it go, for it, not you letting it go, but it being released. You know you're so close. And then boom, it comes back, right? Stay courageous. Stay the course. Stay the course. You know, when I was going through my sobriety and I was in the AA program for a while, they say, don't quit before the miracle, right? It's the same thing with Ascension. Don't quit. Don't quit. And can you love yourself through it? Hi, Empower Your Dreams, Earthly Starseed, Melody Rose. Long name. I love it. Tingling sensations over my head, especially the right-hand side, Blue Raven. You have tingling over your head. That's your crown's open, so that's awesome. And its consciousness is talking to you, moving. So you guys, when galactic beings, higher consciousnesses, angels, ascended masters, when they communicate with us, they move in through the crown. Yeah, you can feel them through your energetic field around you, right? That 1.5 foot field around you. And so they're around you. And so they have an energetic field based on the vibration and dimension they're in. They're in your room. They're in your space. Different dimension. All dimensions are in this now. All dimensions can be tapped into, right? So they're in your field energetically, just in a different dimension, which means you can't see them. When they communicate energetically, telepathically, it's through the crown. That's how the channel works. That's how our channel works. And it's funneled, filtered through the top of our head. And so you'll feel, that's why when you want to start to learn to really channel, you really want to open this. Like a garage door. It's interesting when we really start to feel the energies. It's like, oh my God, this is really real. Hot palms, I don't even know what to do with it. So so anytime there's heat, it's energy, right? So when energy increases its vibratory rate, it gets warmer, it gets hotter, it can melt metal. I had a friend of mine, my mom's best friend, she was in a really, really intense sort of meditation experience. And it lasted for a couple hours, and they were raising their vibration within their body for a long extended amount of time. And it got really high frequency in her form, and her ring on her finger melted. Joke, not a joke. When she pulled it off, she couldn't put it back on her finger. She couldn't wear it anymore because she could barely get it off. And then when she got it off, literally the metal had melted the ring, because her hands were so hot because of the energy that she was holding in her body. So when you have heat coming from the head, coming from any aspect, especially the palms, because the palms, these aspects of our physicality are a way of, it's almost like dogs' paws, right? When they're sweating and when they're hot, the paws are the aspect of them that lets that energy out. It lets the sweat go, right? If you were to clog up an animal, a dog's paws, they would go into heat stroke. It's a way for them to release that energy, release that heat. The palms are the same way. The palms release the energies. That's why you can feel so much. A lot of times when I teach how to channel, right? And my next channeling course, I only do it once a year, and I'm teaching it again on November 19th, the first class. I teach about how to tap into and feel the energies around us through the palms. It's a beautiful way to begin to be like, okay, is there energy here? Nope. Is there energy here? Oh, hell yeah. I can feel a massive amount of energy right here, right? Do I feel energy right here? Uh-huh. Huge, right? So you can start to navigate energy with your palms. Especially if that's your intention is to begin to really kind of channel and tap into what's around you. you close your eyes and you can increase the vibration within your form. You open up the crown really wide. You invite the beings in. It's always about you. You're in charge. You're in control. You have free will. You invite them in. It doesn't even matter if you know who they are. And then you begin to tell them kind of where to go in the field around you. And then you play. You start to play. They are there. It's not a matter of, are these beings with me? They're in front of you. They're around you. They're above you. They're all over you all the time. It's just a matter of beginning to remember how to tap into consciousnesses that are in other dimensions in this now moment in front of us. What is it that, hold on a second. Taurus, TDR61, what is it when you get somersaults in your stomach that feels like rushes? I get them all the time. It's amazing. It's either your solar plexus or your sacral, that's that energy center that's opening, activating. So there's a lot of energy swirling in that space. My suggestion to you, what was your name again? TDR61. When you feel that again, sit for a moment and visualize it sort of opening, like literally like a portal opening, and see what happens. So there's a lot of energy. We have 7 of these centers, right, inside the physical form, and we have 5 directly above the physical form, and then there's more beyond that. And there's more portals and access points, right? But these are designed to funnel the energy. And so there's specific energetic centers that we navigate to a little bit easier than others. So it sounds like it's either the sacral or the solar plexus. It's probably the sacral that is stirring with a lot of energy for you right now. It's an access point. It's a portal that you can access other things, other dimensions, other feelings, other beings. All kinds of stuff can happen from that space. So when you feel the stomach energies again, close your eyes for a moment, bring your awareness into exactly where that sensation is coming from, because it's energy, it's consciousness stirring up, turning on. Literally, it's energy turning on and swirling. So what is it? And let it out, like open it and see what happens. See what it shows you, or dive into it, right? Go in. This is what happens, you guys, as we start to turn on more, as our light codes literally in our DNA turn on. We start to feel more of this. We start exploring more of it. It's exciting. It's really exciting. Art Riot. Paul the Venetian. I am aware of him. I was guided to meet him. So there's a reason for that, Art. I would keep inviting him in. What is the ray that he works with? Can't remember the ray that he works with, but he works with a specific ray on the earth plane. He's very, very powerful. He's a beautiful master. He's an ascended master. He's really closely connected to Saint Germain. And again, Saint Germain's coming in really strong this month, for me at least. So an ascended master is a little bit easier to kind of feel and tap into and experience than other consciousnesses. Are these consciousnesses in other dimensions always able to see us? Yes, because they don't actually, when you are in a higher dimensional field, you understand how consciousness and energy works in any other lower dimensional field, or when you start vibrating in a high enough dimension, right? 5th dimension and on, you understand how consciousness works. You understand how dimensions work, and you can tap into other dimensions and frequencies quite easily. it's easier to tap. When you tap into a dimensional field, you are looking into it, right? So you're not actually like physically looking into it with eyes necessarily. You're energetically tapping it. So they can see us, but what's actually appearing is more of a energetic, how do you explain this? They're seeing us through energy. And the more they bring their vibration down, which they can do, they will start to see physically us, right? But they most likely are seeing it as a vibration, as a tone, as a frequency, as an expression in that sense. But there are many higher dimensional consciousnesses that, and they will express it through, so a higher dimensional consciousness, let's say a Pleiadian, seventh dimension, right? They could say to us, okay, you look like this. This is what your planet looks like. This is this, this is this, this is. They're doing it all through energy and expression. That's how powerful energy, that's how powerful consciousness is. You don't need to see. You don't need to speak, right? They describe it to us energetically, and we translate it with words. Anyone that translates any higher dimensional consciousness is not translating, they're not actually speaking words. Higher dimensional consciousnesses beyond a seventh dimension don't speak words. And many sixth dimensional forms, they don't speak. They don't have a mouth that opens and there's language that comes out. Most sixth dimensional consciousnesses don't open their mouth with words. They don't speak English or French or Chinese or German. They don't speak, right? So it's all energy. The human that is translating or channeling them is translating that energy into words. So these higher consciousnesses are tapping into our frequency and vibration. And then they are translating it, or the human is translating their translation of our energy through words. It's a little complicated to understand only because we are so third dimensional. So we can't, it's hard to understand something that we aren't yet, or we are, we just don't, we can't experience it yet. It's a great question. I've actually never thought about like, what are they actually seeing? It's a really good question. How do you deal with poverty? I can't work regular jobs anymore in the system of theft. Oh, in this system of theft. Well, for me personally, Alexandra, I don't live in, currently, I'm not experiencing poverty. It's a shifting of belief systems or paradigms. So there's poverty. There's a massive amount of poverty. And if you're in it, it's really challenging to try to find yourself in a place of abundance, I imagine, right? It's one of the hardest consciousnesses, I think, to be in and do your best to be in some sort of space of freedom or joy or peace or love. But it's very possible because there are many cultures and many countries, Cambodia being one of them, where it is one of the poorest countries I've ever been to. And Nepal. These humans are some of the happiest, peaceful, joyful human beings I've ever experienced. More open-hearted than I've ever experienced in my life. And they would be considered in poverty. So, you know, it's a choice in terms of what paradigms you want to play in that consciousness of poverty. And coming back to loving yourself, right? If you are holding this sort of angst around the governmental system or the politics or the laws, if you are playing in that consciousness, meaning that you're actually choosing to play in it and be in it, as opposed to just letting yourself have the experience you're in, it's very different. If you're choosing to jump in and say, I'm going to buy into this, I'm going to play in it, that's very different than just allowing yourself to be in poverty. When you allow yourself to just be in whatever you're in, there's a freedom to it. But when you buy into these beliefs that there are all these people after me, that everybody's going to try to get something from me, that there's all this corruption, it's very true. It's absolutely correct. Okay? But if you choose to play in that, you're creating more of it. So when I was going through, and I may still be going through, the PG&E outages, the purposeful turning off and blacking out counties, millions of people's electrical abilities for no reason in my eyes, right? I know behind the scenes, I know the many different layers of what's going on, okay? I know that it's not what they're saying. I know that they're doing it for other reasons than what they're saying. I know that it created a huge amount of anger inside of me, a lack of control around me. So I was watching myself experience this paradigm. I was watching myself get angrier and angrier, and I was in the anger. And it's those paradigms that we have a choice to be in or not. That is not about, oh, I need to love myself in this. No. I'm choosing to play in that paradigm of the PG&E bullshit, and I'm going to choose not to. So what does it mean to choose not to? It means that I'm going to choose an alternate way of viewing it, which is that this too will pass, and I am safe, I'm healthy, I'm not dead, I have no way of doing anything about it. Right? So I start to shift my perspective and pull myself out of that paradigm because I don't want to play in it. I don't want to play in that. Why? So that's the difference between, well, Lori, you said that you're just supposed to love yourself through everything. Not when when you're choosing something, that's your choice, meaning I'm playing in that. I'm going to jump in there as opposed to just being in whatever you're in. Whatever's showing up for you. You know, and you can love yourself through the paradigms you're playing in, but you don't need to. There's no victims. You're not a victim. I wasn't a victim to that anger. I wasn't a victim to the PG&E outages. There's a freedom that comes from surrendering. There's a massive amount of freedom that comes, you guys, when you surrender completely. That's another thing that's going to start to happen to us. We are going to have to start to surrender more and more and more so that nothing rattles us anymore. Because there's definitely going to be more quote unquote chaos before it's calm. And we as light workers and way showers need to be able to be calm in the midst of chaos. We've got to be able to be out of control, like we don't have control, and in a surrendered state. If we play in it, get upset, get riled, then we're not doing the actual work that we're here to do, which is to hold the perspective and knowingness that all is okay, that we're going to be okay, that we're fine, that we're good, that we're going to get through this, right? Instead of, mother freakers, why are they doing this? This sucks. Everyone's out to get me. You know, they're stealing this from me. They're doing all these things. That's not why you're on the earth plane. You're on the earth plane to surrender to it all. And start to find yourself in this knowingness that you're taken care of, even in poverty. Somehow the Nepalese and the beings in Cambodia and all those other countries where they just don't have a lot, they have enough. Somehow they're in deep surrender to their realities and they're extremely peaceful. We would freak the freak out. So there's something to be said about that. Okay, just a couple more and then I'm going to go. Oh, Tracy, that's awesome. I'm loving the sunflowers behind you. I'm accepting them as a message from a soul who's passed over. I love that. It's an exciting time to be alive. I agree. I'm glad you caught me live, Tracy. Sherry, I love you, Alexandria. It won't take long to get comfortable. Woohoo. Witches. Bring on the witches. Did we choose our own to jump? Did we choose on our own to jump into this playground? Denise, yes. You chose on your own to jump in. And you chose most of the intense experiences that you've had in your life. And you chose to wake up. You chose to come here to be the light worker and the way shower that you're here to be. You chose to come down to remember. You chose to come down to be in these exciting times, even though right now they may not be exciting. You chose to come down to forget, to remember, only to remember. You knew you would forget. That's part of the consciousness. You knew you'd forget. But you remember, and you're remembering. You chose it all. What else? Any advice? My mom is on the journey of passing over, Sherry. I would say, the first thing that came to me, Sherry, is learn from her. And I don't know what that means other than what does she want to share with you? What's happening with her right now? What is she seeing? What is she experiencing? What is she knowing? When people get really close to passing, and if they're conscious and open to kind of sharing what's going on, they will share some profound truths that unfortunately sometimes only come during those moments of passing. So that's the first thing that popped in for me, Sherry, was can you sit with her and hear her if she's capable? I don't know what her state is. So Tina, are you speaking about the channeling class? Why don't you just email me at contact@loriladd.com, okay? Tina, email me at contact@loriladd, LORIELADD.com. And you'll find it down below as well. We can talk. Oh, she has been. Okay, great. Then that would be my suggestion. I just heard learn from her, so that's what I would say. Anything else before we go? Is the channeling course going to be online? So the channeling course I'm doing it's live, 4 weeks live online. So it's on Zoom. And we connect for 75 minutes. Each class is 75 minutes. Probably will go over. And so they're going to be on a Tuesday from 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time to 11:15. If you can't make it live, there will always be recordings of all 4. They start on the 19th and they go every Tuesday after that, except there's a break from December 3rd to December 17th. So there's an entire week where there's a break. And the reason for that, the reason I do that in this course is because There needs to be time to integrate what you're learning, to tap into what energies are around you and what you're starting to recognize are around you, and practice. And then we come back on the 4th week, which is the 17th of December. And I open it up for whoever wants to come on screen with me and practice channeling live in front of the group. I don't channel. I mean, I tap into who's around you and the beings that are around you, but you actually practice channeling. And the reason I have designed it like this is because the only reason that I am channeling the way I am is because my mentor sat me down on her couch and said, I want you to channel. And I had been doing what I thought was channeling. I just didn't know if I was channeling, right? I didn't know because there was nobody saying, yeah, you're channeling, right? So she's like, I want you to channel these Lemurians you're talking to. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh my God, like this is so freaky. How am I going to do this? And I did. And I came out and she said, you're a freaking channel. You are legit. Meaning we're all legit. We're all channels. We just need to be told that, yes, what you're doing is good. Keep going, right? We need that kind of validation of like, yes, what you're listening to, what you're hearing, what you're experiencing. Yes, you're doing it. Because many times we think we're like, am I? Am I not? Is this really what's around? Like, maybe there's nothing around. You know, we just need that validation. So you want to be able to make it to at least one of the lives, because it's powerful when you're there live, just like on the YouTubes, right? The YouTube lives, there's just something a little bit more powerful about being there live. But you don't need to be at all of them live, right? Definitely at least one. The course is 4 weeks, 75 minutes. There's a Facebook group that we can connect with, and it's $325. So I kept it pretty low based on everything that we're going to be doing so that as many people can join as possible. I hope that answered your question. Nicole. Yeah, take a look. I'll leave the link down below, you guys, and you can look at it. If you want to reach out to people that took the course last year, I can send you their information, some of their information. So you can reach out to them and ask them how it went. The video on how to deal with family asleep. Yeah, so that is actually my next video, is being in relation to others as we do this. So I will do that shortly. And of course, I will interview Joe live. I'm excited, you guys, to be able to do this. I've never done a live interview. Joe's never been live. Are you excited, Yogi Joe? Share your story. You have kept your costs low. I appreciate it because I'm able to work with you. Oh, thanks, Wendy. I appreciate all your support, all of it. I really, really appreciate all of you guys just being here. Yeah, it's an honor to be able to be here with you guys. All right, I think we're coming to an end. What do you guys think? I think we're done. That was a beautiful transmission and live experience that we had together. I'm so grateful and honored to be here with you all. Thank you for being here live with me. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being you. Thank you for courageously continuing to move forward. Thank you for letting me be an example of what this looks like, feels like. And my next live will be whenever it is. What is that? 2 weeks from now, 4 p.m. again. If you want to get the notifications, subscribe to the channel and then click the little bell button next to it, and you'll get notified that I'm going live. And also check the community tab. I don't know if I let the community know, but the community tab will typically go on and let you know. And with regards to Joe and I's interview, I will put a post out on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll let the community know when it is, so you can make sure that you don't miss it. Okay. I love you guys. Oh, and I'll put the link down below for the channeling class if you're interested, and my online community, the Stargate Circle, if you're interested in joining us over there. There's a lot more support. It's like this, but you get it 3 to 4 times a month on top of this. So it's pretty awesome. All right. I love you guys. Be gentle with yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.